With The Rock teasing a huge match and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. In a surprise appearance ahead of Clash at the Castle in Scotland, Drew McIntyre would return to ICW.
You pass without one little surprise.
It's going to get you to the next level, the next level, the next level, get us back as popular as ICW was at our height and get even bigger than that.
Sticking with Drew McIntyre, he would be asked why he hated CM Punk, as he told Denise Salcedo, "I'm starting to realize that I've given him too much attention and I'm the only one that's kept him relevant. So I'm trying to ease up on that because it is fun to tear him apart on social media. He's got zero comebacks. He knows I'll shred him. He learned even on the microphone I shred him at his own game because in the ring, not that he ever had an athletic bone in his body in his prime, in one match I went in there and I genuinely can't stand him. It's not like I'm Daniel Day-Lewis and I'm out there like, wow, it really feels these guys don't like each other. We don't. We can't stand each other. I targeted him, beat him up, and injured him because it was that easy. Because I'm a genuine athlete. The one thing he's good at is those pipe bombs, and I shredded him at that too. The problem I've had is I can't help myself. I don't like him, and I've had so much fun just ripping people to pieces. He's such an easy target, but I'm taking a step back because I'm keeping him relevant. That's my fault. I'm focused on the world. I'm focused on Priest, and I've got to stop killing him verbally because I'm having people ask me about him every 2 seconds. As fun as it is, screw him. I'm focusing on the world title. With Ricochet seemingly written off of WWE television after being beaten down by Braun Breaker on Raw, Ringside News wrote that during Raw, discussion circulated about potentially arranging one final appearance for Ricochet to maximize his remaining time under contract and capitalize on his popularity with fans. According to Dave Meltzer's latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE's decision to write Ricochet off in such a dramatic fashion was not merely to close his current storyline, but also to leave the door open for a potential return. Despite the efforts to provide a compelling reason for Ricochet to reconsider, the prevailing sentiment indicates his departure from WWE remains likely. While WWE had creative plans in mind for Ricochet, including scenarios if he chose to stay, the expectation is that he will indeed depart for AEW or explore other opportunities in the wrestling world. Talking about the idea of WrestleMania eventually being hosted in the United Kingdom, WWE Women's Champion Bayley said this to Cultaholic: "Yeah, man, I hope it happens. And I really do think there's a strong chance. I mean, look at all that we've been doing in the last year. Triple H wants to take over the whole world. We are piece by piece doing it with these shows out here in our first PLE here in Scotland." During that same interview, Bayley said this about competing outside of WWE for a promotion like Marigold in Japan. The more that it's been happening, it really didn't hit me that it was possible until I saw Jordynne Grace come out on NXT. I immediately texted Hunter, Triple H, and texted Shawn Michaels. I wanted to be at the show. I would love to be front row for this. It's a historic match. Just to get my face out there. Hey, I'm watching. I'm the champion. Can you consider me if we ever do something with TNA? I would love to do that just because it's different. It's exciting. It's something that people will remember and the fans can really feel how real this all is. It's such a cool time in the business. Doing things like that is such an unpredictability that gets people excited in different ways. I would love to do something like that. Marigold, Rossy Ogawa, I'm down. I've wrestled a couple times in Japan with WWE. I got invited to go to Japan right before I got signed, but I couldn't do it. Speaking about the possibility of a WWE star winning the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, Ringside News noted that WWE has been presenting an array of successful premium live events ever since a new era dawned upon WWE. The company, after the WWE Clash at the Castle in Scotland, will present one of the most exciting shows in its history, WWE Money in the Bank, set to take place on Saturday, July 6th, 2024 at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. In an early discussion about the possible winners for the namesake ladder match this year, WrestleVote stated on their X space that main event Jey Uso is being considered as the top candidate to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Jey Uso has been a prime fixture for WWE television programming on the Raw roster ever since he began his run as a singles competitor. Moreover, his popularity has been on the rise ever since, and he has recently dominated the company's merchandise sales as well. In regards to Money in the Bank, Jey Uso was also the first male WWE superstar to declare himself for the ladder match. With WWE considering him as the top pick for the win, this could elevate his career to greater heights and possibly earn him the much-deserved world title run that he has been pursuing for so long. Reporting on WWE's reaction to Wendy Chu's altered presentation on NXT programming, Fightful Select reported that NXT officials were said to be very happy with Wendy Chu's new presentation and the fan reaction to her shifted character. Going over why an angle was not shown on NXT television, Ringside News wrote that during the June 4th episode of NXT, an unexpected incident unfolded during commercial break, adding intrigue to the ongoing narrative surrounding Brooke Jensen's future. Jensen was spotted in the crowd during the break, but was promptly escorted out by security. Jensen followed it up by successfully breaking into NXT premises during the June 11th episode as well. Both times he had verbal confrontations with Vic Joseph and Booker T, but none of these were shown on NXT television. Fightful Select reports that NXT sources have indicated they are currently relying on fan reactions to drive Brooke Jensen's storyline, explaining why it has not been prominently featured on TV yet. It was also noted that NXT officials are content with how the storyline has blurred lines and resonated with some fans. For those asking why Brooke Jensen's storyline is yet to be shown on TV, NXT sources say they are relying on fan reactions to carry the story for now and are happy with how the storyline has blurred lines with some fans. Briefly explaining why he dropped his "It's time for the main event" catchphrase on AEW Rampage, Mark Henry, who recently saw his deal with the promotion expire, told Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, "It was too over. I wasn't a talent. You can't be more over than the talent." Touching on the fact that a match between him and Shawn Michaels never took place, AJ Styles told Inside the Ropes, "I remember walking up, it may have been Triple H or someone. I asked him, hey, does Shawn want to have a match? And they're like, I don't know. I said, but did we ask him? And they're like, no. I never got around to asking him like I asked The Undertaker. I never got around to asking Shawn. We weren't close enough for me to ask him something like that. I didn't have his phone number. We are closer now, so I never called him out. But the truth is, he probably wouldn't have that match anyway because we've talked about it before. What is the benefit? Who benefits from the match? If Shawn wins, okay. If I win, okay." There's a lot of truth to what he was saying when he told me that, and it's all right. It would have been fun to have, but for me, it was about a learning experience. On X, Wrestle Features said that WWE Hall of Famer and known racist Hulk Hogan is hinting at running for president, then provided a quote from the Hulkster. In response, former WWE star Val Venus wrote, "Wrestle Features takes a sledgehammer to his or her credibility. These wannabe journalists are lying morons. Hulk Hogan is not a racist like WF claims. The man is a sinner, as are the rest of us, but he also accepted Jesus Christ as his savior." In a video, Drew McIntyre can be seen leaving a gift for fans at a WWE shop ahead of Clash at the Castle.
What's happening, everybody? What a wild week it's been, what an incredible week. Dreams come true. We cap it off tonight with a big world title victory. I want to say thank you to everybody. In fact, you all been at the WWE shop this week. I'm going to leave a little gift there. If you find this hat, it's paid for, it's from me, and it's for you. Don't sell it on eBay, keep it for yourself.
With Triple H making a statement to Pat McAfee about wrestlers taking a job with a lighter schedule and not being in it for the grind, AEW star Will Ospreay would respond and take a shot at the game. Now, Dutch Mantel has given his thoughts on this exchange, saying on his Storytime podcast, "I have no sympathy for Mr. Ospreay. Triple H was probably right about him. He's probably not ready for the grind, certainly. But the grind now is still nothing like it used to be. It's a lot better for the talent now than it used to be because it couldn't get any worse." As NXT star Tatum Paxley unsuccessfully challenged for the TNA Knockouts title at the Against All Odds event, Tatum would post this video afterwards.
Jordynne Grace might have got the best of me, but there is no doubt that I will do anything and everything in my power until I become a champion. I'm not done yet.
Sharing his perspective on working under AEW President Tony Khan, former commentator for the company, Kevin Kelly told KNS WrestleFest, "The inmates running the asylum for me is, and it could have been when Frankie was there. Again, our paths didn't cross there. We were great friends, but maybe it was during his tenure. While I was there, it was a lot of hurry up and wait for Tony Khan to make a decision, because every decision went through him. You know, picking out the color of the paint on the wall. You know what I mean? He has good people. He has tons of good people involved. Why couldn't he delegate more? Well, because you have to ask him, and that's where it is." When it comes to the contractual status of Hangman Page in AEW, Ringside News wrote that according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, Hangman Page is poised for a return after an absence since early March following his match at AEW Revolution. Although his hiatus was not due to injury but rather for personal reasons, he had planned time off as per contractual obligations. While an exact return date is yet to be disclosed, sources indicate it's expected to happen within the next month, potentially by early July. Creative plans for Page upon his return remain undisclosed, though indications suggest he will continue in his current heel persona. Regarding his contract, while it's speculated that additional time might be added due to his absence, the situation was known in advance to both parties, suggesting it may have already been factored in. As AEW's Dynamite is scheduled near his home this week, whether Page will appear at the show remains unconfirmed at this time, with details about his comeback date and contractual implications yet to be fully disclosed. Fans eagerly await his reappearance, potentially as early as July. As the stage is set for AEW Dynamite near his home, all eyes remain on whether Page will make his awaited return to the spotlight. Following his return at TNA's Against All Odds event, Jeff Hardy had this to say to those in attendance.
And how about the return of the charismatic enigma, my brother Nero, Jeff Hardy?
Oh, well, I would say that hell froze over. But heaven has had it out for me all along, and TNA is my new heaven! Thank you!
Teasing a huge match at WrestleMania 41, The Rock also reflected on his return to the ring in WWE, telling ESPN, "I felt like that was a representation and a reflection of what I was feeling because, as you know, in pro wrestling, there is no take two. You get one night, one shot, and one opportunity. Leading up into WrestleMania, the training camp, the pressure, the expectation, the deliverable, everything, that quote kept coming back to my mind, which was, I just want to go the distance. And going the distance meant I knew that we had almost an hour planned, which, as you know, is a long time. I also had something to prove to myself. It's always you versus you. So that's something to prove to myself that I can do it and put in the work and put in the training camp and rely on my dance partners in the ring in Cody and Seth and Roman, as we all relied on each other. But yeah, I just want to go the distance. We're on the 1 yard line to create the biggest WrestleMania of all time and the biggest match of all time at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. I'll just leave it at that. Final boss style. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.